Hey everybody, welcome back. My name's Dave Simons. Today I'm going to talk about the DJI Mini 2. I just got this drone because last summer my old drone was actually knocked into a lake by my sister's dog. It was my fault. I will say I got too close to the dock and I was going to make an epic flight through this big tube we had, but Boots, the dog, wanted nothing to do with this drone existing near anyone or anything he loved, so he took like a standing leap from the dock at least 6 feet out and just tackled the drone right into the water. But I'm excited for this drone for a lot of reasons. Gonna do a little unboxing. And the second camera, brought to you by the vintage Canon 7D. It's still a champion in my eyes. Oh yeah, here we go. I did get the Fly More combo. That's what I got when I got my Mavic Pro. Yes, look at this shoulder sling. That's what I'm talking about. Oh yeah, all the stuff that I want. Okay, look at this controller. This is the 2021 edition of the Mini 2. So solid. Love it. They've really refined this design over many years now. Here it is. Wow, it's just so tiny. It's exactly the kind of action I'm looking for. So compact, so less regulated. And just a nice little cozy button strap there. Pretty cool. Wow, that's actually really nice to keep it all together. Look at these baby propellers. What? I mean, I was looking at the test footage of this thing next to other models, and it is just really impressive for being this small. Like, I think the image quality is better than the original Mavic. I mean, it does 4K 30. It doesn't look over sharpened, the footage I'm seeing from people. For being this convenient to carry around, it just allows you so much freedom to fly in different countries, and you don't have to worry about it as much. So I found this cool riverbank spot to test out some moves in camera settings. I also tried out 2 different ND filters. ND filters are basically sunglasses for your camera, so you can keep the shutter speed slow enough to have natural looking cinematic motion blur in your moving shots. Having slower shutter speeds, like 1/50th of a second when shooting 24 frames per second, lets in more light, so that's why you need ND filters of varying strength depending on how bright the landscape is. This is also why you should always use manual camera settings on any camera, so the image isn't visibly adjusting itself in real time, giving you an amateur look. So I want to talk about how fast this drone is to set up and use. You just, undo the arms like you would for pretty much any drone. And then you just take off the little clip right there, the little camera guard, and then you are good to go. And then you just turn it on, like double tap and hold on the bottom, and you're just rocking. Whereas on the original Mavic Pro, right over here, get a sense for the size difference. Pretty wild. I used to fold this up in my backpack, but now it just seems so unnecessarily huge. And this is just so nice and compact. What made the original Mavic Pro kind of a pain to set up was that in the manual, it recommended that you unfold the wings and lock them into place each time. There's actually a little lock icon, I'm not sure if you can see that, on the Mavic Pro's propellers. So you had to unfold the arms, you had to lock the propellers in place, you had to pop, this guy off, and then, something very minor, but you had to undo, the antenna, because I actually did have connection issues when I didn't unfold the antenna. So you have to unfold the antenna. It's nice because it's a little bit compact compared to like this beast of a controller, but it's not as fast to get set up. It's like a weird little system right there that there's this like sliding little guide there for the plug, and then you bust out your phone, it's fine, but like, it's just a little bit, gotta get it right. Not only that, this would run out of batteries really fast. I did find myself a little bit more used to the controls of the yaw axis, so turning side to side. On the original Mavic Pro, I'm still getting used to it on the Mini 2. but I was able to do some like really nice kind of parallax, like circular shots. I know you can set up point of interest and all that. I've yet to try that on the Mini 2, but doing those shots manually is like just more gratifying. It's pretty cute. Isn't that adorable? Look at that. It's just like father and son. It was also advised that you use the 3 pieces of landing gear. You gotta do, you know, one of those, you know, one of those. Then you gotta fasten that on there. And so it was just all these little steps, and I definitely preferred using the landing gear on it. It just felt like it was landing safer. This is just so light, I feel like it's not making as big of a difference. They do sell landing gear separately, but this came with the Fly More combo because it was heavily recommended. So, and with the Fly More combo, they didn't even care to give me landing gear. At first I was like a little put off, but I'm like, well, I guess it really doesn't need it. And I also tried just catching it out of the air, which worked perfectly fine. You do have to initiate your landing before trying to catch it because there are sensors only on the bottom of the Mini 2. And it's kind of fun if you kind of raise your hand into the sensors, it'll just push up the drone a little bit because it's trying to avoid any obstacles. But when you put it in landing mode, it just falls nicely into your hand.
Landing.
Not falls, it descends gently into your hand. But yeah, I mean, this is something, and I have launched the original Mavic Pro inside the house before with no issues, but I'm not gonna fly in between rooms with it. This, I would definitely consider doing that. So both drones shoot 4K video at up to 30 frames per second, but the Mini 2 actually records at 100 megabits per second versus only 60 megabits per second on the original Mavic Pro. And I gotta say, like, you can tell the difference in the quality. It's just noticeably better on this little thing. And I mean, that's what a few years of tech upgrades means, but it's pretty cool. So I had actually been considering buying the DJI Air 2S because, I mean, that was kind of the same price for the Fly More combo as this was back in 2017. It has the 1-inch sensor, it's pretty good in low light, and it has 10-bit video. So I was thinking that's gonna be great. It's gonna be such a powerful camera to add to my arsenal. But then I saw how amazingly decent the video on the Mini 2 looked, and I was like, you know, that's not worth $600 more, at least. More like $700. Yeah, $12.99 for the Fly More combo for the Air 2S. This was $5.99 for the Fly More combo, Flare More combo.
We need to talk about your flare.
So, I mean, especially when most of our videos are going online anyway and nowhere else, like, it just looks so good, especially on a phone screen. And the number one feature that sold me the most on the Mini 2 was the fact that it's under 250 grams. It seems like most governments around the world have agreed that if a drone weighs under 250 grams, it's probably not going to cause much damage to people or property. So I actually have a trip to Rio de Janeiro planned in November, and I was doing all sorts of research on, you know, if I'm able to fly drones there. And I found that the Brazilian Civil Aviation Authority considers you licensed if you're flying a drone under 250 grams and under 400 feet or 122 meters. So that's exactly what I plan to do. I don't plan to stretch the rules whatsoever. And yeah, that's amazing that I don't even have to get extra paperwork, which could be a hassle when I'm on a trip like that. When I found that out, totally sold. And you know, in the US, it's much more lenient on drones under 250 grams as well. And I hear that's pretty much the same in many countries. So the other day I invited my friend Mike to ride our OneWheels at a park, and I figured I'd get some drone footage at the same time, so that was a blast. I had my Insta360 One X2 as well. Even just having those two cameras, I mean, I had my big camera, the one that this is being shot on, didn't even use it because, I mean, those just get way cooler vantage points. Like, I mean, I'm holding that Insta360 out when I'm one-wheeling. I got this that's quick to bust out and fly, and I'm already getting a hang of following, you know, one wheels with this thing, and it was a blast. Just trying to get more cinematic shots. I'm not quite an FPV pilot, but that day will come. I do love how the battery compartment is just right there, and yeah, you just pinch the back and pull out smoothly. The USB-C and micro SD ports are right there. Just so convenient. Everything's just designed for speed and convenience. I just love it. I mean, it's interesting that these cases are almost the same size, but I mean, one thing that the Mini 2 came with that I really love with the Fly More combo, a battery charger 3-pack. And you can plug the USB-C directly into there. And yeah, it's got a little like power test button. So it shows that the charge level on each of the batteries. They just really thought of everything for convenience on this. It's just great. Yeah, the controller's a little hefty, but it is just nice. Like, it seems like it accommodates more phone sizes just more easily. So that's awesome. And there's a nice handy switch for cinematic mode versus sport and just normal. You can adjust how each of those modes flies within the app. And I do love that you're never gonna have to worry about breaking a thumbstick because they unscrew super nicely. And I thought that was a pretty cool touch. You can make it so it just folds flat. You can pack it into a suitcase with a lot of other things, and you're not gonna have to worry about these being like jerked in a certain direction. Or back when you were playing old school video games and you were accidentally like holding the joystick one way as you started the game, and then all of a sudden your character is just like moving in that way indefinitely until you unplug and replug in the controller. Remember that? Anyway, thanks so much for watching, everybody. I will see you next time.